Sorry. Hello? Can you guys hear me? Oh my god. I was literally talking for 10 minutes to myself. I'm so sorry, guys, but okay, I'm ready. Okay, I'll repeat everything again. I already passed SPX and I went to Bitcoin chart. I thought everyone is enjoying themselves, but it seems that I was just warming up my voice. Let me just go over everything again. Bear with me 1 second. So we have a lot of questions, so I'll go over that later. I just want to go through some most important charts and go over some personal thoughts. So firstly, SPX. Very quickly, so SPX, we discussed it on the previous stream that we're expecting some sort of pullback above the yearly open. So you saw that deviation here. We retested the EMA 99 and continue back up. Now, very simple. If we continue to hold above Monday high and reclaim that yearly open, we go into a fresh all-time highs and everything go absolutely crazy. Any pullbacks, if we start below that Monday high, any pullbacks to that previous month high, previous week low, we probably see some weakness on crypto as well. If that happens, that's the place you want to load up. Again, we'll probably align with some pullback on Bitcoin. Now, what we don't want to see is any sort of acceptance below that white box. Very simple. You see that here when we started that sell-off from all-time highs, we stalled here for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, then sell off, try to reclaim it and continue to nuke. And until we reclaim that EMA 99, you see the first loss here, and then there was a second chance to like recapture that and they get some momentum. That's EMA 200 here. It just didn't happen. So since we reclaimed that EMA 99, we are in a bull trend on stocks, and we assuming that we'll continue trending in similar fashion to Bitcoin, which means the price action on stock should look similar to Bitcoin, something like that, and continue to grind up. Now, the moment we start seeing acceptance below that EMA 99, then probably we'll see a weakness on the market and trend will shift. But for now, it's not the case, and we just play with the trend, not overcomplicating it. It's pretty straightforward. And if you're starting to... We don't see charts. Oh my god, why you don't see charts? Oh, fuck. I'm playing with that loop, so I'll just talk to myself. And again, okay, well, anyway, whatever I covered here, you saw that deviation above the yearly open, retesting EMA 99, and continue to trend up. So just to shorten that, assuming that EMA continue to trend, EMA 99, that's the price action you can expect on stocks, and we continue to grind towards all-time highs, and crypto will follow. A white box, that's your line in the sand on stocks. So that's between 5,777 and 5,730. If we start seeing a weakness and acceptance below it, we accept the fresh lows, and you should be very cautious on stocks and crypto. Pretty straightforward. I know that you guys not too interested in stocks. It's just good correlation for a market. And now just go quickly for a Bitcoin dominance. So if you go for Bitcoin dominance on daily, hopefully we start seeing some weakness over here. So we got that huge push to 65 low. So if you just look at a weekly chart of Bitcoin, this was the highest level since Monday, 22nd of February 2021. So what we would expect here is some sort of cool off, because as you can see, Bitcoin dominance was in an up only mode. So some sort of chop, cool off over here, maybe a sell-off towards the end of June, which will cause all the alts in Ethereum to go absolutely crazy. We don't want to see acceptance above that previous month high and push back up, because then alt will be extremely weak and will be hard to trade again. So that's something to keep an eye on. Next important thing a lot of people are not paying attention to is USDT dominance chart. Logic is extremely straightforward here. If the USDT dominance going up, it means people moving money from crypto to stablecoins, which means they are selling. So as you see, that selling period aligned with the pullback we had. You see that period, you just align with the Bitcoin chart that we literally were selling off pretty much from January, February. Altcoins got absolutely, meme coins obliterated, and then we picked that sell-off in the beginning of April, and since then we're trending back up. So pretty much USDT or stablecoins dominance is the inverse chart to Bitcoin and crypto market cap, and as you can see, it keeps going down. So if we continue this downtrend, means people running from stablecoins and deploying that into crypto, and we continue to trend up, which is good. What we don't want to see, it's 1 second, let me go and zoom in a little bit. Don't want to see it start grinding back up, and especially accepting above the DMA 99 over here. That's gonna be cause of concern, that people are cautious, something it might happen, and you should be running away from the crypto back into stablecoins and start being cautious. For some people who asked me before, you don't really need many indicators. The easiest way to chart at beginning, especially if you want to on a higher time frames and understand more about the market, is to go to TradingView. It's worth to subscribe. I don't know how much it costs now, but I think TradingView is very cheap. As you can see on the right side, you can watch all the coins. You have a bunch of cool stuff. Now, you need a Spaceman BTC key level that's giving you those levels like a previous month high, previous quarter high, quarterly open, monthly open, Monday high, Monday low. They are super helpful. And you have the BTC Charlie Trader Exxon macro trend scanner. This macro trend scanner is literally EMA 12 and 25 that is changing color based on the trend. So when EMAs are crossing to the upside, it's a bull trend, to the downside is a downtrend. So as you can see, those EMAs are white here, means we are in a bull trend on the daily. And here they were on all the time since literally that sell-off. I'm just showing the USDT chart, but it's the same thing on Bitcoin. They were in a downtrend, and it's exactly the same over here. So those things, like if you want to pay attention when to start de-risking a portfolio or taking profits and so on, the easiest way is to literally have an EMA 99 on daily or 4 hour, and those EMA 12 and 25 trend scanner. It's very simple. As you can see, we literally, since we reclaimed that EMA 99 here, we're in up only mode, and Bitcoin just does that elevator up, consolidation, elevator up, consolidation, elevator up, consolidation, elevator up. And those EMAs, as you can see, they follow the price and they follow price action. You see that? So as long as we're holding within those EMAs, that's pretty much the trading you will expect, and then the pullbacks are for buying. So when we had some sort of drama, I'll just drop on 4 hours on Twitter. Every few percent pullback, there's drama starting on Twitter. We went for 50% up from 74K to 112K in a space of like 6 weeks. And we saw how much is it? Bitcoin pulling back 4.8%. Like Imagine explaining someone a few years ago that we pulled back from 112,000 to 106,000 on Bitcoin. Oh my God, we are doomed. We are going to the bear market. A fucking morons. Like, I will honestly say one of the most helpful thing I did, it's filter my Twitter. Like, or just if you're unexperienced trader, like just don't follow more, don't have notifications on more than maybe 5 or 6 accounts at the most, like trusted people, maybe like guys like Nebraskan Gunner, CM2, Trader Extra, like, you know, good with macro, don't bullshit too much, it's easy to understand and so on. Like, so many people on the Corgi chart and so on just getting confused and overcomplicating stuff, but trying to follow 10,000 different accounts and opinions. And like, hey, Cointelegraph said that the Bitcoin mining, it's going down, we should sell off, or like whatever happened. And it creates a drama and that tension that you just are losing confidence that is a good time to buy or sell regardless of the news, and you overcomplicating stuff that is not really too complicated. So you don't need to be experienced trader. You look at the chart and you just look on two things. Are we above EMA 99? For me, it's that orange one. Yes. So as long as we're above it, any pullbacks towards that EMA are for buying. That's how you should approach it. Now you have that EMA. Let me just double check that's which one is it? I think it's 200. Inputs 200, yeah. So the second thing you look on 4 hour, because most of the people, the easiest chart to look it's daily and 4 hour, is the EMA 200. So are we trading above 200? Yes. So we continue to be in a bull trend. Now, if we start accepting below that 99 and pull back here, I will assume there's some sort of drama. You can see there's a huge support over here. Like we build it for what, 2-3 weeks. So if we do get any pullbacks to 105 to, I don't know, 102 level, that shouldn't break if we're in a bull trend, and that will be tremendous buying opportunity. Like if you see us accepting below that level, that's, you know, fuck off, run away. You should not be holding anything. We're probably gonna trade at least here, and if that doesn't hold, we're going back to lows. Makes sense? But as you notice that since we started bull trend, we did not test the EMA 200 since 84,000, and there was not really a reason to pull back that deeply. So when I saw the a little bit of sell-off and click something extra which I shouldn't click. When I saw the little bit of sell-off past few days, and I was repeating over and over again on a server that like it's a spot buying opportunity. Like entire Twitter was screaming for 102 and 97, and like there was zero reason, because here we started building support here, you have a nice reaction here, nice reaction here, and we continue to hold. And any weeks towards that area, you see that we instantly buying back. So now if something happens and we retested back this area and it holds, that's again buying opportunity. Now if something, you know, let's say we have some black swan and stocks pull back and crypto pulls back, and we looking at this as a line in the sand for a bull market. You have a big support over here. We don't want that C breaking. Here it's making me cautious, and I'll probably exit some of the most recent positions because I can get better entries. But I am bullish as long as this level holds. That's about 102 previous week low. You have a strong support over here. This should not break as long as we're bullish. Cautious over here if we start losing it, and I will look for lower. So I'll close my recent spot positions and look to buy back the probably 10-15% lower on alts. But so far, I'm expecting us to just not give people the perfect entries they're looking at, and those EMA should be trending like that. and the price action will likely just continue to do the same thing. You're gonna have a retest here, just pull back, drama on Twitter, we're calling followers, smash back up, drama again, calling followers, smash back up, until the trend is exhausted. And how to notice if it's starting to get exhausted is when you see those EMAs flattening. Let's start looking on a daily first. Let me show you here. So you see the trend was continue to go up. So it's EMA 1225, EMA 99. So first thing you've noticed is the EMA 99 starting to move away. You see that? It's moving away from EMAs 12 and 25. So that's first thing to notice, that there's it's gonna be some extended period of consolidation. Doesn't mean it's a sell-off, but it's extended period of consolidation. When you see this, you see this gap is just getting bigger and bigger. So that's something to bear in mind, that Bitcoin is probably close to topping or some sort of consolidation here. Now you see those EMAs 12 and 25 continue to hold the price. That's the previous run, just to show you an example. So you see from here, we continue to grind with those EMAs. Now we had like that spike when they started. For the first time, those EMAs started curving down and flatten just over here. Then that was the moment we had this first big sell-off from 108 to 90k. And now they started curving back up, try to reclaim it, another sell-off, and then the curving back up. You see over here, but it was very short term. We started again, we just did like this little move here, and as you see, both of them started going towards the downside, and that was the risk of signal. Here we had a little bit of consolidation, so some alts and memes were running, but you remember that period when I said that 95 and a half, that's my line in the sand, that was around like EMA 99, with that period of consolidation that people were changing their opinion daily. Like the moment we saw that acceptance below that EMA, I was out of the market, and then we just traded over here, did some shorts and so on, but like that is not the time to hold stuff. And that's something where you can pay attention by yourself. You can pay attention to literally EMA 12, 25 and 99 to see if you should be in a bull trend or a bear trend, and if you should be holding your bucks or not so much. Now getting back here, we continue pretty much to do the same thing as we were doing previously on the Bitcoin on the daily, that we continue to trend up. And one can assume that it's gonna continue for now. Now, the moment you see those EMAs starting to do something like that, this EMA starting going further, you see the gap will probably start extending. That's probably moment that we might see something like that, and those EMAs will start doing this. Price will probably do that, spike, and start the sell-off. And if it meets that EMA 99 over here and accept below it, that's the end of the run. And we're probably going much higher. Alts will get obliterated. That's something you keep an eye on. Does that make sense? So for now, we're in bull trend. We're sticking to that. Line in the sand for any positions bought in, let's say, last 5 to 10 days is 105.4. Let me just zoom in just over here, and the pullbacks here are for buying. Now, if we accept below it, exit the most recent spot position, you probably can buy a much lower, around the 102 level. That's another line in the sand. Any acceptance below that level, end of the rally, fuck off, don't hold anything in a spot, run away and be cautious. Now looking on the current price action, we're usually trending Monday low and high. So You see that sell-off we had this morning, there was a deviation and accepted. You look at the 4-hour and it accepted above here. The same, retested that Monday low, continue above, continue above. So you can assume throughout the week, the easy way to look at the trades is to, as long as we hold above the Monday low, we continue to have a trend throughout the week. If we see any acceptance below that 108.6 level, you can assume we're trading back toward that level like 106, 105, probably 106 should hold if EMA doesn't deviate. So that should make you cautious. Now, this is important level. That's the previous quarter high, which is a previous all-time high. We do want to see that hold if we looking for all-time highs this week. Otherwise, probably you can see something like that. We're stalling here, price can't decide, retesting, can't decide. And then we probably will try to hold on the Monday low. And if that doesn't hold, then we're looking to buy lower. So that's something to keep an eye on. That's the previous quarter high, which is 109.6. We do want to start having a daily closes above. So far, as you can see over here, we pushed above the first candle over here. Then we have an extended sell-off. Now here, rejection, and we accepted below. You see that daily close just below. And here we are trying to accept it for the first time since pushing into an all-time high. So what we want to see today, it's something like that, and start pushing higher. So will be first positive sign for this week to keep an eye on, close above that quarterly high, or previous high, and that will open the floodgates, so to speak, to squeeze back up. So that's a Bitcoin chart. Now let's just go quickly through Ethereum, HYPE, and Solana, and then we'll go through some questions and some favorite coins. Let me just put back SPX to see what's going on. No, XPX looking good, nothing to complain. So Ethereum daily, most hated coin. It looks very good. I hate to say it, I'm not a fan of Ethereum, but probably because of that, and it was just pretty much impossible coin to trade. Like since the topping here at the 4,000, that squeezed back up, you literally had the consolidation, some sell-off, some push-up, consolidation, sell-off, consolidation, sell-off, consolidation, sell-off, consolidation, sell-off. It was just brutal price action if you're Ethereum bull. Now we see some positive signs. So first thing you see on the daily, we are above EMA 99. So you see the moment since we accepted below here, that was 3,300. That is the moment you don't want to hold Ethereum. It held us all the way to the 1,400. So again, the same way to approach the chart and risking or de-risking your portfolio. Accepted above it, and now we see those EMAs starting to curve back up, and also EMA 12 and 25 over here starting to do something similar what they're doing on Bitcoin. If I show you here, let's go on a daily. So you see it feels like Ethereum is almost at this stage over here of where Bitcoin was. You see that? And if I open the Ethereum chart, you see? So that's where I think Ethereum is right now, and we're gonna have some great squeeze on altcoins and on Ethereum over the coming weeks, especially in June. So here is a Bitcoin chart. I think Ethereum is in the same spot as Bitcoin was at that 92 to 95k level. And people just keep changing their mind and they're gonna get chopped to pieces. Just over here. But the trend continued to hold us up, and EMA is starting to curve back up. I think we should see that golden cross So golden cross is when you see EMA reclaiming above EMA 200, and those EMAs 12 and 25 continue to grind up. So the price action should start doing something like that. Let me just change color of this one so it'll be easier to see. Let's do a pink. Oh, maybe not the best one. Orange. Similar to yellow, but yeah, hopefully you can see that. So what you wanted to see, this is confusing. Let me just make it more clear. Bear with me. So it's important chart because Ethereum gonna lead all the altcoins. So let's just continue that the same color as they have. So what I'm expecting is EMA 99 to continue to do this. Let's do that orange, same as the EMA. Now you see that EMA 200, we should start flattening, and EMA 99 accepts above, that's a golden cross. There we go in white. And then you see, let's just make them in light blue. Sorry, not this one. And then you see those EMAs 12 and 25. They should start doing this and hold the price action moving forward, at least towards that yearly open. That's like a minimum target for Ethereum. So that 3,300, 3,200 level over here. So golden cross over here. So I'll expect that somewhere probably in the middle of June if things go well, towards the end of June. And the price action on Ethereum should look pretty much like that. You just just trade within those EMAs 12 and 25. Any pullbacks to EMA 99 is for buying, and continue to grind up towards the yearly open. Let me just change the color of the Ethereum one so it's more visible. Oh, not the whole one. Bear with me 1 second. And there we go. And the blue. There we go. Something like that. Hope that makes sense. I know it's hard to draw 5 different lines and to make it visible, but pretty much here you have EMA 99. Let's continue grind up and holds the price. We don't want to see acceptance below EMA 200. That's another support. We want to, you see that EMA holds us. You see how many reactions we had here? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All the here retest is around EMA 200, and that's the current support. And now we continue starting to grind back up. So I think if you're looking for spot Ethereum or long positions, you have a pretty easy setup over here. Like, you don't want to see below EMA 200. So like if you want to have like some sort of swing position, you can take 2-hour trade, for example, here with a stop loss below 2,400 and a target at yearly open and possibly previous quarterly high 3,700. Now, to decrease the risk, and if Bitcoin continue to grind up, you can literally set up a stop loss below the Monday low. So that was 2,500. So let's say 2,489. And that's your current 7% risk for a 23% reward. So that's 3-hour trade. And here you can have almost 5-hour trade. But yeah, overall, Ethereum looks pretty good, which is great for altcoins. And I think Ethereum is in the same situation as Bitcoin was at like 92 to 96 level. And once it starts trending, it's gonna go very quickly. And probably gonna be very similar price action. It's gonna go pretty much in 1 or 2 candles to that yearly open. You will see some consolidation over here. And if we continue to grind up, that should be something similar to what you see over here. And if we continue to grind up, then you're targeting that previous quarter high, over here. And then it's gonna be decision. Now, if we start seeing that, rolling over, then obviously end of the rally, we're looking for lower. But that's pretty much identical to what Bitcoin was doing. You see over here, So that's something to look at. Oh, we had a nice long on Corgi calls, just called it over here. Beautiful. Hype. It's the best looking chart in crypto by far. It's shitty because it's on exchanges like I have a BitCat here for some reason, doesn't show the whole history. But anyway, the most recent spot entry riding got from 29.30, that was 33% up. Because there's a less history for chart, we can drop even to maybe 6 hour. Yeah, 6 hour look decent. So 6 hours, you see that EMA 99 reclaim over here. Boom. And since we reclaim above that EMA, we did not go even remotely close to that. We continue to grind back up. And that's just showing the possibility, like when EMA 99 is not flattening, but it continues sharply up. So you see it's still very close to EMA 12 and 25 and continues sharply up. It's a vertical rally and it's very hard to guess when it stops. I think at some point we'll see some sort of exhaustion, but I think Hype can trade the 50s and 60s in June. And then we're gonna have some 20, 30, maybe bigger sell-off. And that'll be a great opportunity to buy if you sidelined or if you sold at the top and looking for a better entry. Why is Bitcoin crying here? Yeah, we need to just look, going back quickly to Bitcoin. We just need to see Bitcoin closing above that quarterly high. We need to grind, consolidate here, started accepting to squeeze back up. What we don't want to see with the strength we see on stocks is Bitcoin starting to roll over here. Then we're probably looking for entries again in that area. And if that falls, then we're looking for lower. But we'll keep an eye. That's the daily, on a daily close and 4 hour close. So far we got the first 4 hour close above. Then we want another 4 hour close above here and some consolidation and then squeeze back up. Stock's looking great. There's no reason for any rollover at the moment unless we get some bad news. Hype, it's hard to get entry right now. So basically the only way to look at the entry is you see that EMA maybe on 6 hours will be easier. Well, actually not. They're still looking good. So any retest towards this EMA 1225 you see continues to hold. So if we start grinding back and pull back to that to EMA, that's your entry, and stop loss below, and you're expecting that it's gonna go higher. So let's say if I just like do hypothetical price action, that's your EMA, like doing something like that. Price action is like we pull to 40 and then you have that sell off, for example, to let's say 38. This is good entry with relatively low risk, because assuming since 26 we didn't accept below EMA 1225. So you're assuming that it continued to hold the trend. If we start accepting below, that might be sign of a weakness, could be quick deviation. But if it starts accepting below, that's the cause of concern, and you're assuming that it's gonna hunt probably for some better entry around EMA 99. If that makes sense, that's like a EMA logic and how to look at the charts. Hopefully that makes sense for you. But that works on the higher time frames, on 15 minutes and so on. Sure, it's fine, but like it doesn't really give you a clear outlook, so to speak. Solana is really underperforming recently, but let me look at daily. So it's similar situation to Ethereum. So I think we might see a Solana rally as well. Bitcoin dominance cooling off, and again you see that consolidation over here after accepting above EMA 99. So one can assume that EMA 99 and 200 will cross, pretty much identical to what we covered on Ethereum. You're gonna have that period here of a consolidation, That's pretty much between 164, that's your entry if we deep, and 186 is the resistance. We continue to trade in this box. Once we accept above it, it's gonna be a fast move probably to like 230, 220 level, and then that's another, just looking at the resistance over here. And that's another period of consolidation and decision if we go higher or pull back. So that's how I would look at Solana. Here you have the pretty decent resistance over here. So that will be, I'll be somewhere next target. Started to look good. So we see that trying to reclaim above Monday high. I think if we close above Monday high, consolidate a bit, we're gonna push to that resistance around 190, that's a yearly open. And that will be the first problematic area. If that's broken, we go squeeze very quickly. It's gonna be 10-15% candle in one day to this 220, 230 level, just over here. Assuming that EMA continue to go up, 99 cross over here, you have a golden cross here. Any pullbacks to that EMA 99 200 are for buying. So if we see something like that, let's say that's your EMA 99 and 200. If we see something like that and something happens, we pull back here, that's your entry. It should hold and it should start grinding back up pretty quickly. That's the easy way to look at EMAs, but for now looks pretty good. I think that's the consolidation period, again similar to that Bitcoin 92 to 96 level. Once it breaks, we're gonna fly, and all the Solana memes and coins do very well. So Fartcoin and Weave and so on, so on. So that's something to pay attention to. Another one that I didn't really speak to, so we called on the server Anna. I think it looks incredible. You look at daily, that's literally just trying to reclaim that. I bought the spot, called it on server today. You have that structure that we discussed with other ones, and it's trying to reclaim that EMA 99. You see that over here? If that holds, I think Anna is going to be one of the better performing altcoins in June. And it can go even towards 90 cents. That towards that yearly open could be literally 2.5x trade from here. So about the spot, I think between that area, 1 second, here it's a good entry. If you missed on the lows, anything in that box between 34 to 45 cents, that's your entry. And you're aiming for like minimum to this area, so minimum to about 65, 66 cents. That will be a reasonable target for June. Now if we break, that should be some sort of resistance. Now if we break above it, then is the yearly open. So one of the better looking coins. What else we can look at quickly? Pepe, we called already on server. CRV looks great. It have this literally same pattern as Fartcoin, one of the better performing coins. I think it's gonna continue to do something like that. It's gonna continue the stairs, chop people to pieces, and I would expect yearly open to be tagged in the next 1 or 2 weeks, and then previous quarterly high at least. That's like a minimum target, and looks very good. I think Vobroy called the long, I called the spot, one of the better looking altcoins. What else we have? There's plenty, like Virtual Kaito looking great. I miss on Virtual, looks absolutely insane. I don't even know how to catch the entry on it. I think Vobroy was calling it here and there. Not in their master, we need to look for golden cross for best entry. I'm just showing the potential price action. The entries are posted on Discord. Golden cross is that the potential that is going to be more upside over time. We don't need to look for golden cross specifically for an entry. Yeah, virtual gold looks insane. I think if we're lucky to get some pullbacks over here to 225, that's for buying, and it's gonna squeeze fast towards 4. I mean, there's not much resistance with fast move down. I literally, if we are lucky on virtual and get that retest of that Monday high, previous week high level, I missed on it. You literally just buy here and sell for a pretty much 2x. Great looking chart, one of the better looking one. Kaito started to grind up very well. So I think Kaito is looking for fresh highs, and there's a lot of people, a lot of mindshare Kaito. So I would say if we top a little bit here and had some pullback towards the Monday high, towards that 2 level, and it holds, that's your good buying opportunity towards the previous all-time highs. Something like that. If we get a squeeze up, some sort of sell-off, you're looking to buy over around that Monday high, just in the low 2s for a squeeze up. It's hard to chase over here. He rejected once here. I think we might have some sort of deviation here, pullback, and then I'll look to buy, but it's a great looking chart. What else we have? We're holding a bong in a spot. ENJ I called today. Great looking chart. You can see this EMA is 99, and I called yesterday. We're up 11% in not even like 24 hours on ENJ. Great looking chart. You see that EMA 99, it's about to cross. Here on 12 hour, we can go on daily. Sorry, on daily it's a little bit different. Cool. Let's go on daily. So on daily you can see it EMA reclaim. So we have a reclaim, retest, hold, and continue to grind up. Now we flip that previous week high, that 15 level, and consolidate above. Then we're targeting yearly open, that's around 20. And then again, same logic like with the other ones, that's your area of trouble, that's usually good TP. You look for some sort of consolidation, and if it starts accepting above, then you can target previous quarter high towards 27. Well, it's looking great. I think if we get any pullbacks, EMA looks very good. If you get any pullbacks towards that weekly open around 13, that's for buying. But we might even start squeezing from here. Acceptance above 15, you're targeting 20. That's probably the easiest 20-30% trade you can take. Riding spot from yesterday, looking great. There's a lot of good looking charts. I just don't want to call too many. Last thing I wanted to discuss is SUI. Just go 12 hour because the coin has a little bit less history. And SUI, I posted that on Twitter and on Discord as well, but I didn't call it per se on Discord. Purely because of that drama with the hack. So on SUI, we want that EMA to hold. You see that since the reclaim EMA 99, it continued to trade above it. Now it's the first retest since 240 level. So we want that level to hold, and any pullbacks to that 340, 350 level, maybe we get some consolidation over here. I think it's a great area to buy. And if we see that acceptance above that Monday high, that will make good case for previous week high, so the 420. That could be area of trouble again. And if it breaks above, then we're targeting fresh highs because that move was very inefficient. So you see that sell-off here didn't really stop. There was not much consolidation. It just pretty much went straight down on that sell-off on SUI. So I think that's the main, that yearly open 411, previous week high 420. That's the main trouble if we get there. If we accept above it, we're targeting, it's gonna go very quickly to 540. It could be literally in like 2, 3, 4 days. Similar to the move you saw over here. It was literally from 20th of April to 25th of April. So he went Sorry, wrong measurement. SUI went 85%. So that's definitely chart to keep an eye on. And again, just to repeat, we might get some period of consolidation over here. If we just draw the box to make it a little bit cleaner, just this area, let's just make green and bright. Oh, there we go. So we might see some consolidation over here in this box. That's a good area to buy between, as long as the EMA holds. You're assuming that we're in a bullish trend. Maybe if there's some bigger pullback, that's EMA 200 should hold that 320, 330 level. But overall, this is good area to buy. And if market is trending, we should see SUI at 410, 420. And if that's broken above, we're gonna squeeze very quickly to that 540 level, to previous all-time high. And the structure supports it. Looks very similar over here. Some sell-off and then squeeze back up. So I would expect something similar to what we saw before. So I'll definitely pay attention to SUI. Yeah, maybe last one. Well, we call the fart coin with Trump. Trump, you just have a odd feeling someone is playing a market maker here. So we have a less history. Let's go on 6-hour chart. Call the spot. Maybe even 4-hour. Yeah, 4-hour looks better. So if I look at Trump, you see that it's just crazy. First reclaim above 99, didn't even wait, which is like a consolidation for like 2 days. And it squeezed literally on that news from 8 to what, 16, just double in price in like 2 days. And then obviously it was a big sell-off. Now, you see how the price reacted. There was that deviation below EMA 99 and 200, a little bit of consolidation and accepted back above over here. And we continue to grind around those levels. And now what I don't like is that EMA just flattens here, but that often EMA is doing like the waves. So you see those 3 waves, and the 4th one is a squeeze. At least that's from my observation. So you see that first wave, second wave, third wave. Now, as long as we hold that area over here, like 11, 12, and as you can see, market maker, it's like someone, it's holding it here purposefully. Like it doesn't really go below that level since May 12th. So someone is market making here and buying it back. So I think that could lead to like a bit of chop here. But once it moves, it's gonna move quickly to at least that 16 level. And that's again like a trouble area. Some consolidation and either sell-offs from here, or if accepts above, then we targeting 20 plus. But it pretty good looking chart. It's kind of tricky, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's worth to take the risk. I called spot. We're still in the entry, so it's good DCA area. You stop below 12. Can even do to lower risk. You put it below those weeks over here, so like 1140. So you have a 11% risk for at least 25-27% gain, and potentially if that's reclaim for even 2x play. So it could be pretty good. So something to keep an eye for sure. On Trump, what is Bitcoin doing? It's really struggling. Someone is putting the sell walls over here. Let me just clear that up. I just quickly go on Okotoki. Yeah, so just to zoom out, you see that it's all that, and the blue lines especially is a thick support on Bitcoin. And I mean, unless we get some bad news, that 105 to 107k level, it should hold very well. Like any reactions in that level should be bought back immediately. Oh, we had a reaction over here, for example. You see that was the support retested on the 107, retested, consolidated a little bit, and started squeezing back up. So here's a trouble area because we have a big resistance building up over here, 111, 111, 12, and so on. But it's not as big as support below. So I think that 110.5 is the current main resistance. You see over here we had a deviation, sell-off. Now we're trying it again. First retest, sell-off, second almost retest, sell-off. Now we're trying again. Once it breaks, we might start squeezing. There's going to be a lot of shorts resting in that 110.8 to 112k area. So if we see some decent spot volume coming in, those orders will start closing and opening longs, and we're gonna see squeeze back up potentially to the fresh highs. But it's definitely area of trouble, and we have to keep an eye for Bitcoin to close above that level I mentioned before, that previous quarterly high. So that's important. Daily close today, or we might see a bit more chop and probably retest of that 107k level. So important day ahead. That's pretty much all about the charts. Yeah, someone's trying to fight the trend here and selling off. SPX still looking good. Just go quickly through the questions. So if we have a questions, let me just put a loop with my beautiful video. There we go, and music. Hopefully you can vibe to that. Let's go through questions quickly and we can wrap it up. We're speaking for an hour, including 10 minutes speaking to myself. Oh, I see some questions on the chat too. If trash. Yeah, it is trash, but it doesn't mean that you can't make money on trash. Everything. I mean, I'm in a camp that 99% of things in crypto are scam and absolute bullshit. The reason why I'm a huge fan of Hyperliquid is because that's the only protocol which is literally on track since launching end of November to do almost $1 billion in buybacks. You have the best tokenomics. I don't know if you guys see if I open it 1 second. Let me just get back to browser. You guys see that? There you go, Hyper. So there's no unlocks until November, most likely. And Hype is buying back currently 7% of the whole supply bought back, which is 2.35% of the entire circulating supply. And that's since end of November. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, 5 months now, 6 months. And he's continued to buy with it has insane amount of fees. We're literally averaging between 2.5 to 4 million in fees now. Today we have 2.8. It's not the end of the day yet. And 97% of the fees going to buybacks. So that's one of the most sustainable protocol. We have so many traders there. The more activity on the chain, the more buybacks, the more burns. And it's a deflationary token over time. So moving forward, if we have any drama on the market and a big sell-offs, this is probably if you put up the priority what to buy, you buy Bitcoin. If there's black swan, drama, another tariff, whatever, bonanza, something happens, you look to buy Bitcoin, you look to buy Hype. That's my camp. And everything else is secondary. Those are two most important tokens you can accumulate by. And obviously they still have 38% of the supply to distribute to people who are active on the chain. So at the current valuation, that's gonna be ginormous airdrop. Already the initial airdrop was the biggest one in history. Potentially we can have 1, 2, 3 more airdrops. I presume they're gonna spread that 38% into 2, 3, 4 seasons. So I think that it's worth to have activity on perps, hold some spot, interact with the chain. And I know someone asked, I'll check on the questions later, one of the questions I had about the HL Hyperliquid farming. So Pranay will create a document and we start sharing the documents pretty much daily, every couple of days, with the different protocols that you can farm on Hyperliquid. I wouldn't say farming per se is priority. You can choose 2, 3, 4 favorite protocols where you can just stake hype, farm some stable coins and so on. I wouldn't overcomplicate it. I think looking at the Hyperliquid team, comparing to all of the previous farming we had with any other chain, they're looking for sustainability. And the most important thing for the chain is activity on the Hyperliquid itself. So holding spot, interacting with a spot, trading on perps, having volume on perps, and interacting organically with the EVM protocols, with Unit, with Hyperland, with Kinetic, Felix. I think that would be a priority. I think there's going to be a lot of scammers, racks, and like not even racks per se, but like protocols that will give you fuck all, so to speak. So I'll just ignore those and just make sure that you're actively using it as much as possible, staking, have at least some hype stake and so on. I think that's super important, and that's where you could focus on. I missed something. Oh my god, look, it's literally flipping all the coins. We are 2x away from flipping Tron and 2.2x from flipping ADA. Imagine Hyperliquid flipping Cardano. That would be hilarious. Like whole Cardano community will flip. Yeah, that would be crazy. But yeah, anyway, one thing to talk about Hype as well. I know if you've been on our own Corgi calls, you've seen it. If you're just joining from Twitter, we talk about Hypeo. Pranay called it ages ago. It was pretty much like a 8K trade because including airdrops and so on. I think we got like 5K in airdrops alone for buying Hypeo, which is like the main. Oh, why is my internet so shitty? Main collection of Hyperliquid until they actually drop the Hyper NFTs. I think it's a value just to hold every protocol, every new project. They look into airdrop to the biggest communities in Hyperliquid, and Hypeo is definitely one of them. So any entries to like 150, 160 level immediately bought back, and I think that's gonna continue to slowly grind up. Slowly because hype is going up too, so it's not gonna go vertical probably just because of that. I think at some point hype will cool off. I don't know, maybe let's say goes to like 48 and it's gonna have like a period when it trades between like 48 to 42 for 2 weeks. That is going to a period when you see NFTs and smaller projects on Hyperliquid take off. It's like similar like with ETH. When it, let's say, pushes up to 3,000, started consolidating in between like 2,900 and 3,200, that's when you see a lot of on-chain activity. So similar with Bitcoin, when it pushes up and it cools off, that's the moment when altcoins, meme coins, Ethereum, Solana picking up the steam. That makes sense. I like Hypeo, it's a great project. Holding few. Some smaller ones we discussed. Just to cover that before the questions. Yeah, Cardano is a joke. Octo, I saw fee sharing. I don't want to take his credit. Octo on Solana was Tolly, founder of Solana, was interacting with it. It started getting some ginormous volume over here. It's already like, I don't know, he called it somewhere here. So it's already went like 20-30% up from there. But it's a good looking project. I think it's a relatively low risk if you buy it between 5 to 8 million market cap that it can squeeze very quickly, similar to Griffine. Griffine, I think, went to like 300-400 million. It's a no code, no setup, just prompts. It's for decentralized AI network on Solana. And a very similar type of project I called, I think yesterday or day before as well, called EZ. Has a less volume and activity, so I'll keep an eye, but I like how the chart behaving. Especially both of those coins have a good amount of holders to market cap. I mean, this is 3,000 holders for 2.8 million market cap. So I think here looks like a bottom, and now it's gonna have that like a boring low trend until it catches some sort of momentum and can squeeze back pretty quickly. Again, on that kind of coins, I kind of like throw some money and forget. I don't want to overcomplicate it. Like if you have a budget, let's say, $1,000, I wouldn't put more than 50 or $100. Maybe 50 for something like that on chain. But obviously, if you have a bigger one, you can play with more. Again, all of those are risky. They can die at any point, but I like those two. And from the Hyperliquid, my two favorite, besides of holding Hype and Hypeo, it's Buddy. Buddy is the first airdrop to Hypeos, and that's like the main meme coin on Hyperliquid. This is catching a lot of attention. So I think any pullbacks to that 20-25 million level, if you get, could be pretty good. I think it's gonna be doing something like that as long as Hype trends. And when Hype started consolidating, we can see vertical rally, probably even to 100 million or 80-100 million. So it's pretty good play on Buddy. Again, meme coins are highly speculative, so don't overcomplicate it. Don't over invest, anything like that. And other one is RAP. RAP is funny idea. It's literally like a one coin. So you're buying a fraction of the coin. It's literally one coin and you're buying a fraction of it. So it's pretty much the most expensive coin in crypto. It's worth 8.7 million if you buy one coin. Again, my second bet on the meme coins on Hyperliquid. Don't go crazy with signs. I think this is pretty good base, that between 670 to 870. You're looking for some sort of, you can buy it on Hyperliquid as well, same like Buddy. Looking for some sort of chop here, started getting some volume and then squeeze back up. I think can have a very similar price action to Buddy. If you compare the early Buddy and RAP, they look very similar. And they included pretty much like all the OGs and Hypeos and the airdrop, so it should look pretty good. Ooh, Bitcoin squeezing. Let's see how that goes. Now let's go to my beautiful loop and go through some questions. Tamara, so you mainly look at HTV charts, right? In case you are using the LTV. You can look at the lower time frame. Like I look at the Ethereum, you pull back on, let's say, one. I just don't recommend anyone to look, how to say that. I would say that 95% of people just spend way too much time on 15 minutes, 5-minute charts, 30-minute charts, 1-minute charts. And that's the reason most of the people losing money in trading. You should start every charting from at least daily chart, because it's the cleanest. You see the trend. And the same logic is in trading as well. Like most of the people trade too much leverage on meme coins and they have a very little spot. So your main holding should be a spot. So if I look for, let's say, hey, we have next 5-6 weeks looking pretty bullish as long as we hold above 105, Your first thought should be how I can accumulate as much as possible of my selected coins so I can make money when I'm slipping and I'm not worried, about the leverage, because let's say Ethereum pushes up, as example here, to 2,700 and pulls back to 2,600. I mean, you're getting obliterated on leverage. But if you're holding that on spot, you don't give a fuck because you can do that later on. Oh, sorry, I was drawing. There we go. Sorry. You see the chart now. You know what I mean? So if you hold it that on spot, you're not worried. But if you try to hold it on leverage, unless you got entry way lower, let's say here, you're gonna be worried about that leverage entry, as an example. So I'll personally suggest having 70-80% in spot, and then have 10 to 15% on trading, and leave some money aside for the any opportunities that may arise, any pre-sales, something, cool meme coin came out, anything. But the easiest way to approach is the spot. And I was discussing that with some of the people on the server. Obviously, if you're not on our Discord, just to explain quickly, people hold way too many coins. So if you have, I think that was one of the questions. Let me just open that quickly. If you have only $100 to trade, if I have $100 to trade, I remember that when I was 2021, if you guys obviously know this story, I started literally with like a 1,000, ride it to 25k. I thought I'm genius, almost lost it all, and then started trading more, following the rules and learning more and so on. Anyway, I was having I had a full-time job at that point, and girlfriend, the new puppy. I had I just moved to Poland temporarily, and I wanted to hang out with the family and so on. So I was literally trading nights or early morning. So I finished work like 8-9 o'clock, had some late dinner, and I was trading 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. for example, had some sleep. And I remember for 4 months straight, there was that trader I was following, and he was pretty accurate. I was learning a lot from him because he was explaining things like very easily for me to understand at the beginning. And I had 4 months straight alarm for 5 a.m. because that's when he was waking up. I think he was in India, and he was doing streams, and I was waking up 5 a.m. to watch his stream, pick up his trades, and then going back to sleep. And I started work at 7:30. And I did it pretty much like 3-4 months straight religiously. I barely slept, maybe 4-5 hours a day. And that's how I started. And I was starting with a small portfolio. So if I have $100 portfolio, you're not gonna buy spot because it doesn't make any fucking sense. You buy something 100, it goes 2x, you get 200. Like it's not really much. So if I have $100, $200 portfolio, I will trade with a low leverage so I don't lose that money. 2-3x leverage, and I will trade actively daily and try to accumulate as much cash as it possible so I can buy spot in the future. That makes sense? So follow the the calls we share on a server, or you have some someone else you follow. I'll take the most reliable spot setups, like the one I mentioned, for example, on ENJ. Like let's say you take that ENJ on 3x, the 11% move I've shared yesterday. That's 33% move. So your $100 trade, you take that on 3x leverage. So that's minus margin. So let's say you took, it's worth 250 and it went 33%. So that's $75 gain. So from that 250 trade, because it's a 3x average minus your margin, so let's say 250, you making $75. So that's pretty good. That's you already have 175 in a day. And I think a lot of people just finding reasons not to trade and finding reasons not to do something because I don't have enough portfolio, I don't have enough time, and so on. Like if you really want something, you can make it happen. And I assume everyone have a different circumstances. You might have multiple kids, you might have the, extremely challenging job that is draining you after 12 hours. So you just have to choose how you would like to trade, because sometimes you don't have a time for daily trading. That's the reason you can take a spot trades. And if something have a 10% stop loss, and even if you take it on 3x leverage, you're risking 30% of your $100 portfolio, so $30, and upside is, let's say, 60%. So your upside is, $60. If you take 3x leverage, that's 180%. So if upside is 60% times 3, it's 180%. And your downside is 30%. I mean, it's pretty good trade, right? So I will just religiously grind on a low leverage, try to get that portfolio to at least 500, and then I'll decide what to do next. There's no point of buying spot. I would say there's no point of buying spot if you have less than $1,000 because it wouldn't help you. If I have 1,000, then I put 700-800 in spot on one particular position, and then I will trade with the rest and try to grind up more. So yeah, and yeah, don't be me. I mean, I thought I'm decent trader, and luckily, I mean, I quit my job, had some savings, and started going full time. And luckily timed it well and traded well and so on, and worked out. But I know so many people who quit the jobs and went full time into crypto and then got absolutely obliterated. So if you have a reliable source of income, salary, stick to it until you have, I don't know, at least probably 100K banked, like sitting liquid 100K. Obviously depends on the country you're living in, but I wouldn't really rush into that. The longer you can keep the multiple sources of income, the better. How you cut your loss on such small trade? Is it around 10%? Stop loss is exactly the same. So you have to treat $100 portfolio the same way as you'll treat $100,000 portfolio, $1 million portfolio. So if my trading portfolio is, let's say, I don't know, 10,000, and you're not using whole 10,000 for each trade. You're using a fraction of that for trading, right? And if the stop loss someone shared or you trading yourself, if the stop loss is 10% on 10,000 portfolio, 100,000 portfolio, is also the same on $100 portfolio. There's no change. You treat the $100 like it's 100,000. Eventually, it might become one. Does that make sense? Okay, let's try from the first question. For smaller accounts with $500 size, how do you deal with swing DCA positions? I just covered that, and I'll approach it the same way. $500, I would not worry about the spot. I'll just do 2-3x spot trades, spot, so to speak. So if, let's say, we call that, I use ENJ because I called it yesterday, and ENJ went up 11%. You take that on 2 or 3x leverage, that's 22 to 33% move. So if you have a $500 portfolio and you took, let's say, half of that into a trade, so 250 on 3x leverage, so that's $750 size trade on 3x leverage, and it went up 33%, that's 750, 150, 225. You're making $225. That's pretty fucking good. I mean, $225 made on $500 portfolio in a day. So you can literally make 42% of your portfolio extra in a day if you follow spot calls. That's the reason I don't get why people don't follow spot positions if they have a smaller size. Because if you have a smaller size, you can take them on 2-3x leverage, and the stop loss on the NJ was, I don't know, 12%. So if you take the $250 trade on 3x, so that's, let's say, 750 in size, and stop loss was 10%, it moved up pretty much up straight away. So you can move your stop loss to break even within, I think there was like 3 hours, and you have a zero risk if you want to play like that. And some of those, you might get stop out break even pretty quickly, but some of those trades you will catch the full 10, 15, 20% move, and that's how you bank money. You accumulate, and just make sure next time you take a trade, take with the same size. So if you get from $500 to $1,000, but you were using 250 to trade, use 250 to trade until you get more confident, and you do that multiple times. Because I think that a lot of people fucking up the portfolio because they get, let's say, you get from $500 to $4,000, and then you're using $3,000 for trading, and that's just not gonna work, and you're gonna get wrecked, and you will not manage the swing moves, and you're gonna get too stressed, overcomplicated, and you might get wrecked very quickly. So I'll just keep my advice for anyone who have smaller portfolio is to religiously grind daily the spot positions with a low risk. They have 5, 10, 15% stop loss. You take part of your portfolio, on 2 to 3x leverage, and you take the trades. 1 or 2, ideally 1, not too many. How do you take partials when the position size is too small? I mean, ideally you should have take profit set the moment you open the trade. So just to give the example, let's open that EMJ trade. Let me get back to that quickly. So let's say that was the ENJ trade. I don't know why it's so white here. 1 second. Let's drop it on 1 hour. So that's the reason those Spaceman BTC key levels are important, because that's giving you, that's the first level of resistance. And if I put at 4 hour, you see over here, like this is your trouble area. This is your resistance. You see that like pretty much the middle line of that is previous week high. So this is good area to take profit. So we grind it up to that 15. This is good area to have a first take profit and move your stop from here to break even, because even if it goes back here and holds, you can buy back at the same price, but you don't want to roll over and get stopped out on the trade. So this is your first take profit over here and de-risk. You could literally do that on Monday high. So it happened maybe 3 hours after, 4 hours after the call, we squeezed up to 1430. You could literally move stop loss from here to break even on that move over here to Monday high. You see? I'll just zoom in a little bit. There was a trade. Let me zoom in. We chop around a little bit here, squeeze to Monday high. You immediately moving your stop loss to break even over here, and then we continue to grind up. Here could be your first TP1. Maybe we just pull back over here and continue to grind up, or maybe we just go back to entry, then we can look for a re-entry with the same setup, but you're not round tripping your profits that way. That makes sense? And then the same as I was explaining before, this is your first trouble area, good area to take profit. And we might just consolidate here. And if we accept above that 15, I think we're going straight, because there was a very inefficient move. So if you look on the chart here, there was immediate move down. So if we accept above that 15, it's gonna be quick squeeze back up to 19. That could be easily a TP2, TP3 over here. That makes sense? And that's how I look on any chart where I want to stop loss take profit. I look at those levels, and then I look to the left, put on 12 hour, 6 hour, 2 daily, and I look where was some consolidation here. That's your resistance, because we went down and you're trying to reclaim that level. So you see there's a lot of stops resting, so there was a lot of consolidation here, and then your next trouble area, it's over here, it's yearly open, plus that was area where we started a big sell-off from, and you have a lot of retests over here, and that's going to be a resistance as well. So that's how you look at the take profits. And you can let those positions run for longer, so you don't need to like, you take 25% profit here, and if it continue to grind up, like I think a lot of people, one of the biggest problems I would say is people letting the winners, you taking profits from the winners too quickly and letting the losers run too long. That makes sense? So you're letting your bad trades to stay, you don't have invalidation, you just have a hope. That's what happened with NFT space, like how people got obliterated. Because instead of thinking, hey, if it goes below that level, I'm selling, I can always buy back lower. And instead of doing that, a lot of people just were, oh no, I just hope, you know, it's gonna bounce from here, I'll sell on the next bounce. And And most of the NFT charts we're looking at the, let's open the WEEF chart. Let me get back to that very quickly. If you look at the WEEF chart, that was, let's say, imagine that's the NFT, and you have these 2 periods that people were like, oh, we are going to Valhalla over here, and then like, oh, I'm just gonna sell on the first bounce. Oh no, it's not bouncing, I'm gonna sell on the next bounce, and bounce a little bit, like, oh no, it's maybe gonna go higher, wrecked. Bounce a little, oh, maybe it's gonna go higher, wrecked. And like that's pretty much the same, or same over here. Like how many times, and I assume a lot of you guys can relate, that your NFTs or spot positions you held did this, and you're like, oh, maybe I won't be taking profits, and then it started selling off, and it just consolidated a little here, and like, oh, I'm gonna sell on the next bounce, but there's no bounce. And it's like here, in this point, you're just hoping it's gonna go back to that previous level, but it never is, you know? So my tip, I guess, will be have with every single position deadline, like invalidation. So I look at the WEEF here. Let's say I accumulated WEEF here, I bought a lot and continue to ride it, you know, higher. My invalidation level would be that EMA 99-200. By the way, we called WEEF on the spot position. I think it looks pretty good. And my invalidation will be that previous week low, that 94. Because if I zoom in for you, that's going to be an area where the EMA 99 and 200 gonna cross very soon. And that's also that level of consolidation over here. So any dips to that level, I want them to be bought back pretty quickly. If we just get acceptance below that, regardless if I bought it at, you know, 40 cents, 60 cents, 50 cents, wherever, I'm out. Because I don't know if it's gonna go only here and squeeze back up, or it's just gonna go straight to new lows. You know what I mean? 1 second, I have to change display. I don't know if you guys see that as well, but I have the eye saving thingy and my display is changing to red. Oh, get it back. Okay, last few questions. Do you also swap? No idea what you mean, but first question was, when you say back to cash, you sell all positions. Yes, cash is cash. And now we're in a very fortunate situation that if you have stable coins, you can put them on those vaults. Like HLP vault is making you between 2.5 to 4.5% a month. Great way to park your stable coins and don't trade. Or Gigavolt, I think it's making even more, like I think at this point it's 6 to 7% monthly. So you put money in a Gigavolt and just hold it. You can unlock it with, I think it's Gigavolt have 1 day unlock, and I think HLP have like 4 day or 3 day. And you just keep the stable coins there until there is a better opportunity to trade, so to speak. So I think it's a very comfortable scenario right now to trade. And to take a stable coins and park them in something that makes you money over time. Obviously, don't park everything there, just some, because you know it's crypto, anything can get wrecked. But something you can keep in mind. Not sure what this question. Do you also swap coins? Yes, on Jupiter. I have sometimes bought like Photon if I trade on chain, but you can just swap on Jupiter. You can, if you're not in rush, you can tick off that setting. There's a ultra setting that is charging you more fees, but it's executing quicker. It's pretty cheap. You use Jupiter, in the same time you also accumulate the UP. Then you're gonna get probably another airdrop in 6 to 8 months. I think I make on the UP itself like 5 figures just from swapping, so not a bad cashback. Do you go back to USDC when you keep storage? I have a cold laptop, cold device that is never connected to anything. I just have the few wallets there that I accumulate stable coins and coins that I just don't want to sell. If I have any, let's see, like Bitcoin or Hype. Currently I don't have it. I just have stable coins. So I don't have like a coins that I keep in a cold. I just actively trade and swing. but I have stable coins in a cold device that they're just sitting there. It's never connected to anything, only to my own network. It's staying at home, doesn't travel with me, and so on. It's just like a safe laptop. That's what I do. I think Ledger is retarded. I think it's a good device, but I just can't trust the company that is promoting the cold wallet to put on your fucking neck, especially with what is happening recently with the crypto founders and traders being captured and held at gunpoint and all that crap. I mean, I'm just not gonna put money on Ledger. I used to. No, fuck it, fuck Ledger. I think it's just stupid company. Also remember they wrecked everyone on the Ledger NFTs and other crap. So fuck Ledger. Trezor, I try to use it. It's just annoying for me. So I just decided to. And the other option, you buy cold device, and obviously you also write on paper. Good to write your codes. Obviously your seed phrase on the paper. I'll suggest to 2 different pieces of paper. One you keep in a safe place somewhere at home or near home, somewhere where nobody knows and nobody will find. Another place somewhere else. Maybe you have a summer home, maybe you have I don't know. Come up with something smart and leave it with your mom and live in mom basement or something like that. And you have your seed phrases just in case if your device is fucked, then you have the money there. But other than that, you have a cold device and just use that. How do you deal with fees when moving from one chain to another? Use dBridge. I'll just arguably, I don't think there's a better protocol than dBridge for swapping. We share that on Discord as well. I mean, if I have, I don't know, some cash sitting on Arbitrum, Solana, Tron, want to swap something from Ethereum to ARP, some Solana to Hyperliquid, whatever, you literally just go to the dBridge and click bridge. You just choose which chain, Starknet, whatever you come up with, and you bridge the end. So I think the dBridge is the best one. And the easiest one to use. Oh, WIF is pumping. Good one. Trump is moving too. Fart going slowly, but yeah, WIF looking good. The spot positions are just like you buy, you chill, and you can just add if it's getting close to your entry. Are you willing to share your Hyperliquid strategy? Yes, Pranay made a whole document I mentioned. He'll be sharing that, I think, today, tomorrow, and it's gonna be one daily, pretty much one document. But I already mentioned how I focus on perp, spot volume, staking, and I started some on Hyper EVM, using unit swapping spot positions to hype and so on. But yeah, we'll share that on Twitter and on Discord as well in more detail this week. Short, long-term market overview if possible. Short-term, I think we have a fun July ahead. That's my base case. And that's what I focus on. I think July and August likely be cool-off and sell event. We have so many macro events in July. It's a middle of the year. You're gonna have a lot of financial reportings. The end of the tariff pause it's beginning of July. Also usually the slowest month in terms of trading because all the institutions it's like non-existent volume on institutions fucking off for summer. So July, August is generally a good thing to, most likely, unless something very good happens, they resolve tariffs early or something, is to probably cool off, trade on daily basis.
One second.
Oh, I think now it's fine. Maybe microphone was not plugged properly. You should hear me now. Yeah, so I wouldn't play any long-term predictions. Overall, I think looking how the government's shaping up, in Japan, European countries, all the Western like France, Germany, Italy, and United States, I think they just gonna continue print and print and print and print, which means Bitcoin over extended period of time is going probably to 1 million per coin. So if you have any dips, any drama, black swans, something happens, again, you just buy Bitcoin, leave it for your children or for yourself as a retirement fund. I don't think there's a better way to do that. And the same thing with SPX 500. So if we have some sell-off on stocks, again, we're just looking to buy it. You just buy SPX 500 or on Nasdaq, put it aside and just forget. It's a good tactic if there will be some extended chop, bear market and so on. But I wouldn't really play any long-term predictions, honestly. Next few weeks looking great. Summer, cool down, probably not so much. And then we likely have another leg up in Q4 and then probably chill out again or big sell-off. So I wouldn't really play predictions, but that's if I would have play prediction, that's what I would say. Where do you keep your spare funds ready in case? Yeah, just on MetaMask, on Rabi, just on a wallet. I just covered that a second ago. You have a cold device where I keep the stable coins just in case, but I always have enough where I deployed for trading that there's always spare money to move around for some new opportunities. How lending and borrowing protocols work, we'll explain that. We'll share that in detail on Twitter, on Discord as well with the hyperliquid farming. But basically, you're lending your Hype or your Ethereum and you get the interest from it, same like banks. Or you borrow from someone and you pay the interest on that what you borrow. It's not too overly complicated, but you have to choose the right protocol because a lot of them trying to do it, but not all of them are good to do it, if that makes sense. So better to be careful, but we will cover that. I just covered when do you move TP to B. I just covered that on the ENJ example. Depends on the trade. Like if it's a 10x leverage trade and something moves 2%, that's a 20% move. You already can move that B, like if it's a scalp or like high leverage trade, 1.5%, 2.5%, it's already good place to move B, unless you're still accumulating, like you're still looking to dollar cost average because you're expecting that it's gonna be more of a swing opportunity. But if it's a spot trade or like 2-3x trade, I will look for more of a 8 to 10% to have a take profit and move it B. Started with 1K account a few months ago, now roughly 1.1, but ups and downs due to learning curve, trying to increase my exposure amount I can gain on each trade. What is the best approach? I just covered that previously, like 20 minutes ago on the $100 trading. Like if I have a 1K account, I will just grind on 2-3x leverage religiously, taking those higher time frame setups, the spot low leverage setups, and just collect every $25, $50, $100 I can. Instead of, I think the biggest problem again people have, especially with smaller portfolios, they try to catch too many coins. If I have a 1K account, I don't trade more than 1 or 2 coins. Probably 1, but you can do 2. Like we have 5K account, maybe you trade 3. And I think a lot of people have 4 or 5K accounts and trying to have 10 positions. I'm not gonna name names, but I saw some people having 3, 4, 5K accounts and having more positions than I have. It just makes absolutely no sense. It's more stressful. You worry about it. Like you have to manage each position. You wake up you have to check if that's near your break even. If do I need to take profit there or here and so on. if you have a less than 5k, you should have 2 to 3 positions. If I have 5k, I'll have 3.5k in spot, probably 2 positions in spot, like 1,750 in each, 2 positions in spot with 10 to 20% stop loss, whatever call is, and other 1,500 I'll use probably 750 to trade, another 750 to have aside, or 800, 900 to trade, and keep, you know, 2, 3, 400 bucks aside for any opportunities that may arise. And I think a lot of people have a 4 or 5k accounts or 2k accounts or 1k accounts, and they have a 4, 5, 6, 10 positions. I saw people having 2k accounts having 15, 20 positions, like have a fraction of this and have that tiny NFT and this one and that one. And like, it's just not gonna work most of the time. You might be very lucky and you might catch a good move, but most of the time it's just not gonna work, and you're gonna get wrecked on more coins than you want. So that would be my suggestion. Yeah, I guess that's all with the questions. Again, guys, if we have any sell-off, any drama over the coming days, you're looking to just to pull the chart again for last second. Boom, you're looking to buy anything in this box, which is gonna be around EMA 99 as well. Has a good take profit area, good entry again for higher. And if we accept below that EMA 99, that 105.4, I will just exit the most recent spot position and look to add lower on 102. That's pretty much the base case. And consolidation above the previous quarterly high. We closing above here. Start squeezing back up. We're looking for way higher targets, and you just ignore the volatility on Bitcoin. You pretty much just follow EMA. That's 4-hour chart, and that's gonna be your base case. So we squeeze up, let's say, to 118k, sell off here, but we hold at EMA 99. We're still good for higher. If we start rolling here and accept below the EMA 99 200, that's the colors of concern. That's when you don't want to hold. But for now, you just follow those 2 magic lines, 99 200. And if you go on a daily, we follow that trend on the EMA 1225. They pretty much holding the price. So very similar approach to 4-hour I just showed you, that you see that the EMA 1225 continue to just hold the price since 85k level, and any retests here are for buying. So the same approach here, and the retests here are for buying as long as it holds. And again, if we start, because that EMA 99 it's flattening, C202, so that space between those, it's getting bigger and bigger, means that we likely see some sort of push on Bitcoin, consolidation, alt season, and we're probably gonna have like that 20% candle. That doesn't mean that it's end of bull market, but we might see some squeeze to 120s, chop here, and sell off to, for example, 110. Doesn't mean that is the end. It can squeeze back again. But that's the place that you're looking to play more with alts than Bitcoin. And also, that's the place to keep an eye on those EMAs 1225, because they're gonna give you reaction quicker than 99 and 200, because this is obviously different EMA. So that 12 and 25, that's your on daily, that's your cause of concern, that if we start accepting below them, regardless where the price is, because that will break the current bull trend structure. As long as we hold above them, any dips towards the EMAs is for buying. Make sense? Other than that, thank you guys for jumping on a stream. Have a lovely week. Sorry, I meant to say weekend. It's fucking Tuesday. Thanks everyone for joining in, and have a great week and great month. And hopefully, we're gonna see fresh all-time highs very soon. Cheers.